Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Big Bingy's Theory. So, Kick-Ass 2. Yeah, Kick-Ass 2. Well, I guess I should start off with what I thought about the first movie. To start off with, I've never read the comics. I never read them. I'm not a comic book guy. And I know a lot of people would prefer to read the adaptation, read the book before seeing the movie and everything, but you know, it's just, I never really had the urge to do that. I know that makes me sound like I'm a lazy prick, but, you know, what can you do? But I wanted to see the first movie because it just looked really interesting. I was like, you're seeing a 9-year-old girl go and kill people. You're seeing, like, a guy that's a teenager that's asking himself, like, you know, how come it never takes to be a superhero and everything? And he actually tries it out, and it turns out to be a lot more than he thought it was going to be. And not only that, but they both have really good hero moments in this. I know a lot of people say that Kick-Ass in the first movie was not really needed because we were all looking forward to seeing Hit Girl again. For me, it's a bit of both. Of course I liked Hit Girl. Hit Girl was freaking awesome in the first movie. She was the best part next to Nicolas Cage in the entire movie. But I also liked Kick-Ass too because he's that everyday kind of teenager that reads comic books every day and just asks himself, what does it take to become? Why does nobody ever try to become a superhero? And when he's thrown into these kind of situations where it's all completely new to him, he had no idea what he was going to get himself into, but he still had his hero moment at the end. He overcomes it and starts actually doing something about it, which I like. And it's as much of his movie as much as it is as a Hit Girl kind of movie. So I was looking forward to seeing the second movie. I was really amped up for it. It was really going to be something that I was looking forward to for the summer. And it turned out to be one of the biggest disappointments of 2013. Next to Good Day to Die Hard, it's a big disappointment for me. Well, to start off with, the plot for this movie doesn't really get a lot of breathing time. Like, as in the first movie, it actually had a bit of time to actually get its main plot going by, you know, just setting up the characters, setting up the situation, setting up what the creation of Kick-Ass is doing. You know, it builds it up, and it does it really good. In this movie, you're already thrust into the main plot of the film in like 2 minutes. It's like once you get that thing started, it'll just automatically get you into the main plot without giving it time to breathe. You know, to give off a little bit more character background as to what's been happening the past years or so that's happened between the first and second movie. It never does that. It just says, well, some things have happened during the time that we were all done being superheroes, and bam, we're into the main plot. But basically, Kick-Ass was done becoming a hero for a while. He wanted to stop doing it, but then he started seeing like other people who were dressing up as heroes in the city and everything, and they all thanked him for it. So he was thinking, like, if these people can do it, then maybe we could start a team or something like that. Maybe I could find a team or something. So he dons the costume again and goes and tries to find a team of vigilante superheroes, so he gets training from Hit Girl, who is trying to lead a normal 15-year-old life. Trying to go through high school, but she sneaks off to go off into her abandoned warehouse training room where she trains every day so she can be ready to become Hit Girl again. And at the same time, she's also kind of lying about not being Hit Girl to her guardian, who is her dad's best friend who worked with him as a cop. And he's trying to get her out of that, you know, Hit Girl life. He's trying to give her back the childhood life that she never had, because Big Daddy took that away from her and made her become Hit Girl. So, and that, to me, like, the plot line for that just kind of just went downhill after that, because for me, when it came down to Hit Girl's little side story, it got dwindled down because of the whole little preppy girl kind of thing. She starts talking to these preppy girls who are the occasional, bitches of high school. Blonde hair, big tits. They make fun of ugly people. They just talk down upon everybody, and they are the ones that get so over teen heartthrob music videos, and like admit that they do drugs and everything like that. Like one of the girls said like she was gonna go to some dude's house to do bath salts. It's like, what? Okay. It's put into her side story that makes it feel like I'm watching less of Kick-Ass and more of Heathers, in a way. It made me feel like I was watching a different movie. This wasn't Kick-Ass for me. This was another, typical teenage kind of film, and that would go into like her side story and Kick-Ass's story of him becoming like a member of the vigilante group called Justice Forever, and they just did not mix in together. They really couldn't do it well put together. It doesn't work. It felt so rushed. It felt like I was watching a different movie. I wasn't watching Kick-Ass 2. And when the climactic battle happened, like, I wasn't feeling amused. Like, the only time I was feeling amused was when I was watching Hit Girl and Mother Russia fight against each other. But at the same time, I'm just not getting into it. I'm not enthralled with it because, well, there's just not a lot in there. At least in the first movie, they knew how to pick their funny moments and stick with it, and also do their dramatic moments, and not put them together and to making it feel like I'm like watching two completely different films. It doesn't work. I had less enthrallment with this movie than I did in the first than the first movie. First movie, I was like ecstatic. I was like, yeah, I wonder what's gonna happen next. This one felt so predictable that I knew what was gonna happen, and there were times where I did smile, but that's about it. I just wasn't really getting into it. It's not Kick-Ass. It wasn't Kick-Ass for me. It just felt like a movie that just needed to be made because the first one was a cult is like a cult favorite now. So, I mean, I didn't really enjoy it. I really didn't. Even the villain in this movie was was not intimidating whatsoever. You go from Mark Strong being the funny crime lord guy, who can also be a pretty badass person. He's a typical kind of evil kind of guy, but he doesn't do it. But he doesn't do it like the typical kind of guy like that. He's like a real life crime lord in a way. He's that intimidating, but he can also be funny at the same time. In this movie, we get Christopher Mintz-Plasse, who is so fucking whiny and trying so hard to be a badass. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. I can't see McLovin being so scary or intimidating. I can't see that. When you call your character, when he calls himself the motherfucker of all things, I mean, really, come on. I mean, I understand it's supposed to be funny and everything, but I didn't like it. I mean, you go from Mark Strong to McLovin. I'd rather go with Mark Strong. And seriously, that's about it. I mean, I can't really say that this was one of the worst movies because I've seen worse. But this was a big disappointment for me in 2013. This one was just bad. I really can't recommend this at all. Like, this upsets me. This really makes me sad. that, you know, it built up some it was building up to be something that I was looking forward to. I didn't have high expectations for it, but I was hoping that it was going to be at least going to be a bit of a step up from the first movie, and it just didn't. It was more of a downgrade for me, and I really can't recommend it. And hell, even when Jim Carrey shows up, I mean, hell, I think he was the best part of the entire film for me, but he was only in there for like maybe 8-9 minutes or so. That's about it. It just felt like a very, very extended cameo. And hell, I would go for a Stars and Stripes movie any day. But considering what happens to him in the movie, yeah, can't really say that. But still, it's just like, I would rather watch a movie of Colonel Stars and Stripes than to see Kick-Ass 2. So I can't really say anything else about this movie. It's bad. It's really, really bad. I did not have a good time with it. I would say go watch the first movie, and it left a little bit of a stainer near the end, like after the end credits. Which, by the way, like, does every movie have to do a stainer now? Does every movie have to do a stainer? Like ever since Iron Man, ever since the Marvel Universe films, like, we've always been getting a lot of stainers in like any kind of movie we can think of, even if they don't show it. But audiences still stick around to look forward because they think that, oh, they might miss something. And from the looks of the little stainer at the end, that there might possibly be a Kick-Ass 3, and if so, please find somebody else to write and direct it, because the person that did this, he's not good. I think, and also, like, checking on the back history of this guy, Jeff Wadlow, I think his name is, he did Cry Wolf. That movie sucked. How can you go from Matthew Vaughn to Jeff Wadlow? I understand Matthew Vaughn was busy because he was doing X-Men First Class and everything, but man, this is so much of a downgrade. It's a downgrade of a movie. It's next to A Good Day to Die Hard. It's one of the biggest disappointments of 2013 for me. So I can't recommend it. So that's about it for me, guys. I think I'm gonna go watch. I'm thinking I'm gonna go watch the first movie in order to get my mind off of this, because honestly, I kind of need it, because I want to be watching a good hero making movie than to ever see Kick-Ass 2 again. So yeah, I'm gonna go do that, and that's about it. So until next time, guys, is Big Bingy signing out.